Well, as you just heard, my name is Charlie Dan. I am with Transpo Industries. Transpo Industries is a company that has been dedicated for along the lines of traffic safety innovations for the last 40 years as of November of last year. I was asked to come in here today and share some ideas with you that would hopefully improve the safety in work zones. Now, I'm not an expert on work zones. I want to tell you that right up front. But I will tell you this. I travel 13 states, and I've been doing it for quite a while, and I am an expert when it comes to riding through work zones because I do it all the time. If there's two areas where I'm going to obey the speed limit, it's in a school zone and a work zone. I'm the guy that I don't care how fast he was driving, when I get to that work zone and they say it's 55, 45, I don't care. I'm slowing down to that speed. I don't care what the guy behind me thinks. And the reason being is because I happen to know that those areas can be very dangerous, very hazardous, and I do know that there are people that are working there, and I certainly don't want to be involved with harming those people and being involved in an accident. And the way to do that, the best thing that I can do is to slow down and try and be careful. And I really, I can empathize with those guys that are working out there on the side of the road, because from time to time, I'm out there in that situation, and I know I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. You hear all kinds of sounds, and vehicles make different sounds, and it's scary out there, quite frankly. So before I get into these two products that I brought to show you today, I just want to give you just a couple of little statistics here that I looked up. And one is that these two figures that I'm going to give you, these are an average for the last 5 years in all states. The fatalities in work zones, roadside work zones, average 1,020 lives a year. But just even worse than that are the amount of injuries that result from roadside work zones, and that's 53,000. So that's a significant number. But I wish we could bring that down to zero. But if today these two products that I'm going to show you can just prevent one injury, save one life, it's worth it. Right here, I picked this up just a moment ago from the show here. This was laying out, and I couldn't help but look at it. I said, wow, this is basically what I want to talk about, preventing. But it says, as you've probably already read it, can we be safe near equipment or traffic? Being struck is the biggest danger in road work. Boy, that's true. I don't care if it's a rock, a glass, bottle, can, flying debris, or worse, a vehicle. Being hit out there on the roadside is a real danger. So to try and help prevent that, I've got two products. And by the way, we also, it said in the brochure, things that are realistic, that you can do to improve the work zone without spending an awful lot of money. I'm not going to get into any prices, but I'm just going to tell you that these products that I'm going to show you are relatively economical when you consider an injury to a worker. This first product right here, and this is just a sample. This is a corrugated steel fencing type material that comes in 50-foot lengths. Now, a lot of people would say, oh yeah, I know what that's for. That's glare screen. That's so, it doesn't blind oncoming motorists coming from the opposite direction. That's true. That's very true. And it's used for that a lot. But something that we're starting to see, and the reason that I brought this along, was the fact that now in work zones where you have a concrete barrier or a guardrail, but for the most part it's a concrete barrier, this can be mounted on that barrier. And what its job is, and where it comes in handy, is that it offers some protection for the workers on the other side of that barrier. That is from flying debris. And I don't care if that debris, and let me tell you, I hear a lot of war stories out there. There's all kinds of debris flying around out there on the roadway. And I have seen and heard from insurance people as well as workers and owners of construction companies of some of the accidents that they've near misses, what have you. But this is one product right here, and it can, one of the beauties of it, besides the fact that it will help protect the worker, is that after the job is complete, it can be taken down, rolled up, and moved to the next job site. It also helps in rubberneckers, you know, because people are always curious to see what they're doing over there, and it gets them distracted, and sometimes that's what causes the accident. Now, this is something that I hate to say, because, I mean, this is just, to me, this is just, I can't imagine people doing this, but I've been told this by several DOT people, and I'm talking about in the last year. When I talk to them about this particular product and we get into this problem out there of flying debris, I don't know if any of you have heard this or not, but I've heard it quite a bit lately, and they say it's getting worse, is that motorists intentionally throw objects at the workers. When I first heard that, I said, I can't believe that. Are you serious? The guy says, yeah. I said, well, why would they do that? They'd have to be insane. He goes, no. They blame the workers. Their frustration comes out because they blame the workers out there. If you weren't out here working on this roadside, I wouldn't have been delayed. I wouldn't have been slowed down. So whatever they got handy, they hurl it over there at the workers. So that, I hope none of you encounter that, but it's happening. Unfortunately, it's happening out there. So this is the one product that I want to say it is a screen, a metal screen that goes up over the barrier, and it will help protect the workers on the other side. Okay? Now the next product that I want to show you is, you know, not always do you have a barrier. Sometimes, many times, the only thing between those workers is a plastic drum or a traffic cone. And that's really scary, especially out on an interstate. Well, up until now, about the only thing that you could do out there, I guess, is just, again, keep looking over your shoulder and hope that if a vehicle does enter into the work zone, that somebody sees it in time to get out of the way. So someone has come up with something here that relatively inexpensive. And I'll make a prediction right now that you folks right here, if you don't remember anything else that I say here or show you, is this little device right here. This is going to be as common in a work zone as a hard hat is, because it's very inexpensive and it works. It works. What this is a sound device. No batteries. All it has to trigger it or to propel the sound is a CO2 cartridge. CO2 cartridge goes in here. This device can be mounted on a traffic cone, on a barrel, a barricade, a stanchion, whatever. It's mounted, and I don't mean just necessarily one, but there's a plan of how these are to be staggered, so that when the worker's out there on the work zone, he's going to have a chance to know that a vehicle has entered that work zone. Hopefully, when the motorist hits one of these and this thing goes off, and believe me, it is loud. It is very loud. In some cases, we're hoping that motorist is going to wake them up or get their attention to the fact that, you know, what's going on, to get control of their vehicle, hopefully, and not continue into that work area. But if that's not the case, at least this is going to give those workers out there an opportunity to get out of the way. It's going to give them a fighting chance. It can be reused, again, once it's detonated and it blasts 125 decibels for 15 seconds. All you have to do after that is put another CO2 cartridge in, and it's ready to go again. It's got a long life. It's extremely rugged. Weather won't bother it. And again, as I say, it's relatively inexpensive. And the reaction from everyone out there that has witnessed these has been very positive. So that's my two products today. And again, I want to say that I'm just sharing these ideas with you. They're relatively inexpensive, and I hope you will agree with me that they're very effective. Thank you. There's a mercury switch in here, and when it gets between 70 and 90 degrees, tilt of 70 to 90 degrees, it fires it off. Okay, well that's a valid point. Again, these will go up in series, and it's on the federal level right now. It's being worked out. Tests are being conducted as to how many and where they're to be located in a work zone. Because again, as I say, I'm not an expert on that. Don't pretend to be, but you would have not just one of these or two of these, but there would be multiple units in a work zone, and hopefully, with all of them sounding off, it would certainly get someone's attention.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.